What's up guys and welcome to the Hoonigan Performance Summit. Pretty good summit, I guess, not that easy, and in some races I got I got close to a rage quit, but I didn't, so I hope you guys will manage to get that done too. Okay, the rewards in this summit are pretty okay, not that good. For bronze we get 5k of the spare parts, for silver you get 10 legend points, well, don't miss that. For gold you get the Mercedes AMG and you will use that in this summit 2 times as a loan car. And for platinum the pretty good orange electricity nitro it looks good. I don't know, the electricity nitros in general are pretty nice, so yeah, get that. And for the plate events you as always just get a few XP, a few bucks, and of course 100k bonus points for summit here. So yeah, do that. 9 events in the summit, of course. Leave a comment and leave a like and subscribe to this channel for summit guides weekly, and I hope you enjoy the video. As always, we will start this summit at the top, so with the first racing car, and the loaned car, which is the Mercedes AMG, we get as the gold reward. It's not really a good car, it's pretty stiff and not really easy to handle in all these curves, but I guess you will manage that. You might notice I'm driving in slipstream again, because yeah, slipstream in Motorfest is some kind of the basic thing for fast races. It's not needed for a good summit, but in every race, I guess, except a few, you can use slipstream to get pretty fast. Because slipstream in Motorfest is not like it was in the Crew 2. You not only get a slipstream for driving behind another person, but you get a kind of a push if you're driving in front of another person, so that makes you even faster, and with 2 people you can get easily max speed and endless slipstream power. Okay, another thing with this summit is the fair play. Yeah, we have a fair play summit again, which means you don't have to use your own parts, so no sets, no nitro chemist, etc. And that's pretty easy for newer players. I think that's why they made it so close after Christmas, because newer players now have the chance to show what they got and what they can do in summits without using sets. Except in the tests at the end, because there, of course, we will use our score breaker sets again. The first race isn't really that much to talk about, a few gutter curves, but nothing too special, so I kind of skipped that to talk about the fair play thing. Okay, next race with the Bugatti Centodieci is pretty hard. The car itself, of course, has settings, and you can use settings even if that is a fair play summit. Settings are okay, not sets, but settings. But the race is pretty hard, because it's completely raining, it's dark, and I don't know why, but I guess the Bugatti Centodieci is without tuning parts. I don't know, fair play normally means you have maximum car without nitro chemist or something like that, but I just felt the car was so slippery. I guess it's because it's raining, but I just felt it like a different car. Okay. The most of the race you can see I'm using inside cuts, so just cutting corners on the inside is basically everything you will need here. Is not that hard at all, but with the slippery car, even with getting off-road on the inside, sometimes you just slip away. Not that good. Try to control your car by losing acceleration, so just don't hold the full gas if you're in inside cut, and everything else should be easy to manage, I guess. You can see at 2 minutes 50 here in the last round I used some kind of a gutter on the sidewalk. Not that this was meant to be, but maybe you can copy that, because it worked pretty good. Okay, second race, I guess not that hard too. Third race was, yeah, the Acura NSX. I just hate that car, because it's one of the cars where maybe it's a big advantage to be at manual shifting, but maybe it's a big disadvantage, because this car for street race has 9 gears, which is quite a lot and quite hard to shift right and get the right gear at every corner. That's I hate those cars. Okay, but the race itself is pretty, again, the same as with the Bugatti. There's only one thing to acknowledge, and that's the inside cuts. You might notice that I'm not using any special techniques, not guttering at all at many curves, but maybe at around 35 seconds you will notice the big inside cut, and that's basically everything you do at every corner in this race. Small inside cuts and do the race clean. So don't get on, I think you will see that at 50 seconds. Here are, at the inside corners, there are the walls of the buildings, and they will break you down quite too much, so try not to use them. And after that, it's just driving 3 clean laps of this race with the Acura NSX. That's the big problem you get here. Because shifting, because car, because race, Okay, but third race will be okay. Fourth race is pretty much... I got bigger problems with that, but that was my fault, I guess, because we will now notice there are no settings sent in for the Corvette C8. And yeah, that was because I found out after I was driving it, I didn't have one. I think I would have settings, but I didn't use them, and I don't have them on my car, and we didn't have them in the Discord. So yeah, pretty much of a failure of my side because I didn't notice it, but I was driving the car. Yeah, we were using the C8 because it's pretty much one of the fastest cars you can use in this race, and it's quite a good car, but I don't like it that much. And now I know because I didn't have settings for it. But again, at 27 seconds you can pretty much see very good why we use gutter and why we try to take inside cuts, because I was nearly hitting the wall in every corner, in every round I was driving here. But if you do the inside cut at 27 seconds, you will not hit that wall. Okay, after that, in that race, the most important part starts at 50 seconds. A little S-corner system, not that hard to get if you notice the first brake situation. After that, cutting through the corners, and at the last corner, 1 minute 10 seconds, you just hit the wall on the inside, so you get pushed into that checkpoint and respawn at the right moment just before you hit the wall, so that you get the actual respawn after you got into that checkpoint, and then you get into the second round. Do the same shit again for a whole second round, and that's it. Till here, the whole summit, I guess, is not that hard, but here now that's the point where it gets really ill. I don't like the McLaren P1, but it's quite an acceptable car, not that bad, but I hate this race. 5-minute race, 2 rounds, not that easy. We know it from the Bike Lovers playlist. And yeah, I will let you watch the whole first lap, because there's a lot to talk about, and it's not really an easy race, so yeah, maybe you will have to see it. First of all, at the beginning we have the first outside cut. So at 25 seconds we drive right on the outside, even if we don't have to, but we have to for the next corner. For at 28 seconds the next corner we cut inside, and to get that and not hit the wall, you will have to do the outside cut at first. Okay. In the city at 45 seconds, normally we would hit the wall like we did in the C8 race, but with that P1 hypercar we don't have to. We can just drive it normally and it will work out perfectly fine. Next part is the first serpentine corner. We just drive through and respawn, then no steering in, just driving front will work, and then you will notice how I failed to gutter the first serpentine curves. It was pretty bad. The second one was okay, but the first one was really bad. And you see, I was just driving through. It was, I don't know how long we tried for that race, but you will not have to manage every corner in this race perfectly. It will be fine if you're failing at 1 or 2 points, that's okay, but try not to get too many complete breakdowns or respawns or something like that. Drive safe, and that's why I will let you see the whole upper part here on the hill, because that's what I would say is the most important thing in this race. Try to drive safe. I was using, I guess, let's say 60-70% of the gas the most time here up on the hill. Of course, on straight lines you just give full throttle, but if you're getting to these corner parts, just use half gas and don't get too much speed. It's just, you're killing yourself. It will delete your whole round. You have to restart the whole thing. And after trying it for, I don't know, half an hour, 45 minutes, you will just get to the point where we start to brake a little bit and drive a little bit smoother and cleaner without getting full gas in every corner and trying to get it with full speed. It doesn't work out, okay? Yeah, of course, you should try to get through it as fast as possible, but try to implement driving safe as the most important part of a race, because pretty much that's it. That's even the way you can not every time win, but get good at grand races. Driving clean most of the time is the best way to do it. Okay, after that, another outside cut on when you're down the hill, and then the second round, same shit. I know, not that easy, hard race, but I hope you get it. I really hope so, because I didn't get it as good as I wanted to. Okay, last race, again the Mercedes AMG. Again, pretty understeering, doesn't like to corner at all, but yeah, the race wants you to corner, because we have an inside city track with a lot of sharp turns, and yeah, pretty much the first one is already one of the sharpest, and you will notice how hardly I have to brake down to the second gear under 100 kilometers per hour. Very slow, but I hope you get it, I hope you manage it. The really hardest part, I guess, on that track was, let me guess, I don't know, it's nearly to the beginning, the part where you have to drive up the hill and brake for the right corner at around 40 seconds. You may notice I braked shortly after the bridge you're passing down below, and just like this managed to get through the corner. You have to get really slow to get through this corner, and that's pretty much everything you have to do in the whole race. The car doesn't want to steer in, so you have to brake a lot. There is no thing like real cuts or using power drift or something like that. Just try to drive it smoothly. One thing I got told today is that it seems to be a technique to drive on the outside sidewalk with the outside tires in front of a turn. So if you're at right turn, take the left sidewalk with your left tires and steer down right in front of the turn. You will get a sharper turn inside of that corner. That's some kind of a high-end technique. I quite didn't know it at all till today. Okay, for the test, the first thing you will have is a point breaker set with skilled for Alpha Grand Prix or Hypercar or Rally Raid or Rally Cross or Street Race or Racing or whatever, because you will just have to use a skilled point breaker set with skilled for the bullseye and the slalom test. It doesn't matter which car you're using. Yeah, of course, Alpha Grand Prix is the fastest and will give you a little bit more points, but it's not that important. If you don't have an Alpha Grand Prix set, use another car with a point breaker set on skilled. Okay? First, bullseye, you just need to have luck with the traffic. Second, again, you're driving in the opposite direction, and then you just have to have luck for the traffic. It's pretty much, yeah, it's hard, I know, the traffic, yeah, but that's something not only luck is managing if you can avoid the traffic. It's a little bit of training too. So yeah, try to avoid the traffic, and I think you will very use short time to get that. It's not that hard at all. Yeah, traffic is annoying, but it's really okay. You will notice in the escape traffic can be much more annoying. And last thing to the slalom, if you're driving it in opposite direction, and you should do, first time you have to turn around driving in, and if you're respawning after restarting it afterwards, you will always spawn in the right direction. Okay, for the escape we are using the Koenigsegg Agera R. I know pretty much I think like 90% of the people don't like that car because it's too slippery, but the Agera has one thing that the 110 doesn't have, and that's corner speed. A lot of corner speed, and it can take faster corners with much shorter, I don't know, sharper angle, so that you can drive nearly full speed in the whole tunnel you're driving here. And that's what makes the Agera just much better for that escape than the 110. You might notice I can just drive through nearly full speed to this tunnel. Afterwards, the downhill corner left turn, you have to go lift the gas or brake a little bit, but that's all. And you might keep a little bit more nitro than I did here, but the problem is I was too slow, okay? Yeah, that was a pretty good run, I know, but it wasn't good enough. Because you might notice at the end of it here, I'm gonna get caught from the zone just before I could take much higher points for only one corner more. I'm driving through this right corner, and if I would manage to drive away there with a little more nitro left or something like that, I would get 1000 meters for 10,000 points more. Yeah, I know, 136,000 points is obviously okay for that, but 10,000 points in the summit is always good to have. Okay, yeah, I know the escape is pretty hard, and I know most of you don't like to use that way and don't like to use the Agera, but it's the best way I could manage to show you in that short amount of time. Okay, I hope the summit guide was helpful and you're gonna manage to get the platinum reward again. Most likely leave a comment and see you next time.